Hello and welcome to the Talking Sport podcast, Wales. I'm here with my brother Connor as we're going to discuss the Six Nations. Sadly, Simon isn't feeling very well, so we hope he gets well soon, but he's missing today. But Connor, how are you, mate?
Feeling good. It's been a good
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah, you said to me off here that everything kind of panned out so far for yourself. We'll start with your boys then first. Scottish game, obviously, the same as usual, really. Italy started well, and then from that point, it was all Scotland.
Yeah, actually, I came in late. I was out walking the dog before. I came in and we just conceded the Lukabiji try. And it's that way, like going on the way that Italy have performed. They've I think just about every game except for was it the Wales game. There's been an early try, like in the first 10 minutes. Italy have done something. And everyone's like, "Oh, is this going to be it?" And then, but like you just after seeing it for the past 4 games, I was just like, "It's fine. We can absorb a try." Italy, like they ducked their heads after half an hour, and sadly that stayed true today, yesterday even. I did think though that that was maybe a more settled side than it has been previously. Made a lot of changes. I think one of the telling ones was that they took away a lot of the Calvasino players. Um, Trula wasn't at 15 and Sperandi wasn't at 14. I don't really think Bullying had done anything at 14, but I think Padovani at 15 was a good change for them. Um, Obviously, they want to grow the game in Italy and stuff, like fair enough, but having your 15 as someone who's not even playing like top flight rugby, it did show. But then, like Scotland, I think we just managed to show our class. But if there's one thing
Okay.
Oh, what was that? Sorry, I was sounding a wee bit funny then. It's the internet. Sorry.
No problem. No, that's good, bro. That's all right. Yeah, no, you could tell. I agree with you. I think they missed Minozzi at 15, that's for sure. With him opting out, obviously this season. But yeah, I just thought you were clinical. I thought Hugh Jones was breaking the line all the time, maybe a bit selfish at times, but I thought he played well, and Hoggy didn't do too bad at 10. It'd be interesting now to see if the French release Finn Russell.
It's the only way they can save themselves. Let's be honest. They're going to get hated otherwise. I'm glad to see the Prem's releasing our players though.
Yeah, it was good that they mentioned that the English boys, or the guys playing in England, I should say, are going to be released. I've never heard Hamish Watson talk, and I had it nailed on that he was Scottish.
Hamish Watson, why wouldn't he not? Yeah, proper northern bloke, isn't he?
Yeah, we were like, what's going on? Me and we were watching it. We're like, where's his voice? What's he doing?
Yeah, there's a guy off screen translating.
Yeah, got his own interpreter. But
had a great game.
Oh, he's always brilliant, isn't he? Him and Richie, like you said, in the pack, always fantastic. And I thought Van der Merwe had a brilliant game again yesterday as well. He's so powerful, isn't he? He's hard to stop. The amount of Italian guys who were just knocking over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought good Scottish performance, and definitely fills myself with confidence of next Friday now, as long as the French don't go into further lockdowns and stop it, of course. But yeah, no, good for the Scottish, good win, and like you said, be awesome for them if they could manage to win next week and finish second in the tournament.
I know.
But yeah, well, let's talk about the last game, the final game, what should have been the end of the Six Nations, and it would have been a fitting way for the end of the Six Nations with how good the match was. But my boys failing at the end, bit of lack of discipline. But if you'd have told me 9 weeks ago, I should say, that we'd be playing in a game to win a Grand Slam, I would have laughed at you. So, how did you see it from a Scottish point of view, that game yesterday, mate?
Welsh dominance until like the last 15 minutes. I think that the rust I was talking about last week in the French squad, I think that was still there. But I think when Jalabert took, I don't know, like a pinky to the jaw and then Untamak came on, like that felt to me like that was the plan all along. They wanted to get his minutes up, but they felt Jalibert had done the job. I think that Untamak probably brought a little bit more control, and France seemed comfortable in it under it, but Wales were just absorbing them. They were pushing them back. I think it was a really big statement from Gethin Jenkins as a coach, really, because the defence was absolutely spectacular. But then, as you said, Rick, it was just the discipline at the end there. France didn't win that game. Wales lost it. Is the sad truth. But it is what it is. Just penalised too many times. I don't know, like, what did you think of the card?
Which one? The red.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, the red.
Red.
It was bad.
Yeah, I think you don't do that naturally. It's not a natural thing for your hand to go near someone's eye. I can understand if you touch the face, but I think the fact that it went to the eye, it was naughty, and I think you'll get a long ban for that, which good for the Scots because their three first second rows are gone for next week. You know, with LaRue out and Wilhelms will be banned, and obviously I can't pronounce his name, but he is the that's the one.
Yeah.
I just thought when he came into the team, I thought he was the guy who got red carded for smashing Wainwright in the World Cup. But yeah, French just like to get a red card against us. To be fair, they like to finish with 14. Obviously, we thought we'll outdo them and finish with 13, but yeah, it was strange. Discipline was strange in that game, like you say about the Wilhelms one. But altogether, you know, our discipline all tournament has been fantastic. And we probably had about 2 penalties against us until that last 15 minutes. I think we finished with about 11 or 12. So that shows the Faletau one. You know, that you kind of do. You could see he was just tired running back, I think, and getting in the way. But yeah, Leon Williams one was stupid. You know, we had the ball. Why are you doing something so stupid like that when you know we're going to be up against it anyway? I mean, the way the game was going and the way we stopped playing, I think, in the last 10 minutes. But yeah, I thought some of them Welsh players deserve a lot of credit. You know, I thought Josh Navidi was an animal all game. Absolutely unbelievable. You know, Bia did well when he came in, and the front three were fantastic all game. I just think they were knackered. That is the only way I can explain it, is they put so much effort into them first 65 minutes, like you said, to boss the game really at the gain line. You know, the French were anywhere, but I just think that it got to the point, and then they were just tired. And you know, France do what they do, as you said. Ntamak come on, and he did structure the game more for that French team than Jalibert would. And how can you stop that French attacking line after, you know, when obviously the last try was just brilliant from them. You know, they worked the numbers, but yeah, I just think obviously a chance missed. That's going to be what it is. You know, we've had a lot of luck this tournament. I don't think any Welsh fan will say that we haven't with the red cards and some of the try decisions. But we obviously then you got the Reece Zammit thing to talk about. What did you think? You know, I know Leighton said on our Talking Sports site on the chat on Facebook that he thought that it should definitely be a penalty try leading up to the Reece Zammit one.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was one of those ones that the game was so wild. It was actually only until this morning that I remembered that there was a disallowed try. And yeah, for me, it was a penalty try all day of the week. I don't know why it wasn't. Like, he scored the try despite the actions of the French. And it was for the foul. So yeah, should have been a try. Should have been a Welsh win, but Wales were in a position where they shouldn't have allowed France to come back into it. I think probably counter to what I've been saying all season. Bringing on Thomas Williams and bringing on Callum Sheedy, there was a bit of a dip. I think that Biggar played the best he's played all tournament yesterday. I think when he came off, like I've rated Sheedy highly all tournament, but then when he came on, there was something just wasn't quite clicking the same way it was. Adam Beard, I think he probably could have stayed on for a bit longer, unless he was nursing a niggle. But it just, I feel that like slowly, like the bench kind of like brought the energy down. But yeah, kind of is what it is. Like a lot of tired bodies. Josh Navidi, when he came off, like his tackles throughout that game were massive. I was genuinely like, from about 10 minutes in, I was thinking he's going to be man of the match, because the defensive shift he was putting in was huge, absolutely massive. Another change I think that messed with things a bit that were working the first half was they started kicking the ball into touch. I think keeping the ball in touch and just letting the French come at Wales and shutting them down, I think that worked so much better than going to the set piece, and ultimately the result spelled that.
Yeah, no, definitely. And yeah, you mentioned bigger, same as Jonathan Davis. I think he was leading that defensive line as well. And as good as Halaholo is, and we've liked him when he's come on. I think give away a silly penalty up the field that started the French attack around 60-odd minutes. And I think just for this game, usually, and like you said, all tournament worked brilliantly at like 50, 60 minutes when he's made the changes. But I think in this game it was, we should have done more what Gatland does, and he doesn't take players off until the job's finished.
Yeah.
Rather than making the changes for the sake, obviously they were tired, but for the sake of getting them on the field. So yeah, no, I agree. I think even at 14 men to 15 men, even though it wasn't that long because Faletau went off pretty quick. I think 10 points. I was still a bit like, I think we need another penalty or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, it wasn't to be. But yeah, like you say, it's still not all is lost. There's still hope there. So the final game of the weekend, then, just a dominant Irish performance out in Dublin, and speaking of forwards again, Tyburn nailed on for the Lions this year, surely, if it happens.
100%. He's absolutely phenomenal. I hate him. It's kind of become a joke in the house whenever Ireland are playing, and like it just seems to be any Munster player. Like Munster players are just these niggly players who are just really good at getting these little annoying things right when you're playing against them. And Ty Burns been doing it all season. 100% a Lion. I think he's going to be one of the first names in the team sheet. I don't know. It's probably like a wild call, but like I think he's at the moment going on form. He's Pippin Itoje, definitely.
Well, if you play him there, of course, because he started against Scotland. Obviously, he was in the back row and he was amazing there as well.
Yeah.
I remember when he was at the Scarlets and he was obviously doing a brilliant job there. And I was just hoping to stay in Wales, play for Wales there. But yeah, he's just a menace, and just everything that Ireland do good, he's involved as far as I'm concerned. And there was a lot of talk yesterday about Conor Murray and Johnny Sexton. Rightly so, they did control the game. But yeah, I thought that just all the ties. Ty Furlong's amazing. Ty Bird is brilliant as well. Just totally, just a good Irish performance, I suppose.
Yeah.
But for England, obviously they played very well against France the week before in that battle, but again another step back for them.
Well, I mean, it's often been said of Owen Farrell and Maro Itoje that they're the heartbeat of the English squad, and I think it's telling that the past 2 weeks, the two of them have been very quiet. Now that I was talking about it throughout the game, England, even when they were playing well, didn't look like they had any belief. Eddie Jones was saying before the match, "Oh yeah, I'll get positivity in the side." I did not see that in a single English player. Like Itoje's usually there, he's clapping, he's like kind of building the atmosphere for the team. Wasn't doing any of it. Owen Farrell, I never realised this, but Dylan Hartley was talking on Rugby Passes podcast, saying that he was. At first, he said ordered, and he said, "Okay, maybe not ordered, but like it was a tactic." Owen Farrell in the France game never talked to the ref, and I don't think he done it yesterday either. So what does that say for your captaincy? I think there's been questions asked about Farrell's captaincy, and I think they're just going to be amplified. But the next best player that England fans will point to and pundits will point to is, right, okay, if Farrell isn't captain, then it's Itoje. But Itoje wasn't there. And then you come to the post-match, and the guy handling all the media duties was Tom Curry. He was the standout England player. And I think no one else stood out. Anthony Watson was quiet. Johnny May might as well have been having a cup of tea. Elliot Daly at 15, like we all know that's not really working. It's a shame about Max Malins, but I don't think Malins could have changed things. So I think England are struggling with a mentality problem and a leadership problem because there was just no leadership on that pitch at all.
No, you're right, mate. And yeah, I think what I picked up about Itoje is if you think of every game this season in the Six Nations, box kicking, he's charging down. I don't think he tried to charge one down from Conor Murray the whole game, and that's what's going on there, you know. And I was going to say before you mentioned it, to me, Tom Curry is the natural leader in that team. Every time I watch England play, he's a menace. He's always there. He's always making tackles. He's always jackling over the ball. He's always the guy that I don't want to see in the England team because I know he's going to have a good game. So yeah, for me, I agree with you. I think they said on the in the after bit, Mark Pugac said to Johnny Wilkinson and Woodward, is it time for a change of Eddie Jones and a captain? Obviously, I don't expect Eddie Jones to go anywhere until after the World Cup, but I agree with you. I think they certainly have to look at captaincy because as good a player Farrell is, I don't think since he's taken over. I know they won the tournament last year, but it was a weird one. They shouldn't have really won it if France players didn't want to punch your players in a game. But but Ireland, brilliant. And I think against Scotland, against us really, against Scotland and against England, they've shown that they're back to somewhere to their best, and they've got a nice mix there. I think they brought in a few players like Keenan, like Will Connors. He wasn't there yesterday. Was he injured, Connors?
I think it was a training ground injury. I think it was his knee. Yeah.
He's been fantastic as well this tournament. So and Conan come in and obviously got the try as well. So I think a lot better from them. But it was a poor England team, and they really need to sort out that penalty count if they're going to do anything going forward. Okay, finally. Sorry, mate. You going to say something?
I was just going to say, just like harking back to Ireland real quick. I didn't feel like that was Ireland hitting their straps. I still feel that Ireland team has so much in them. Like, you look at Hugo Keenan, right? For me, like, he's probably pushing Hoggy for a line spot. I hope that Gats is going to take 3 fullbacks because for me, Hoggy, Liam Williams, and Hugo Keenan, like Keenan, like under the high ball, he never seems to lose it. Is counter-attacking, strikes from deep, like fantastic player. I think he could be in with a Lions call.
No, you're right, and the good thing about obviously 2 of them 3 is they can play wing as well. So if you wanted to take a less winger, then you've got that cover. But no, and obviously it looks like Robbie Henshaw maybe putting his hand up for a centre call as well. Our captain likes a hard running 12, so it could definitely be there alongside a Johnny Davis or somewhere like that if Farrell does pay at 10, of course that is. But we'll have to see. But finally then, mate, let's move on to what's coming up this Friday. Obviously, the game that never was, France and Scotland. Or you can have a lot more fans in this game than you would have before it from Wales. What are you hoping for this Friday?
I'm hoping for a win by at least 7 points so that we can come in second. I just I had so much belief after the England game, and then obviously the Wales game happened. And it was a great game, but it just your head's dipped. You're like, oh, sakes. And then it's like, right, okay, let's come back into it. Nope, the French can't stay in a bubble. They want to go get waffles and they want to go see their son play rugby. You're out for a month. You have a rusty performance against Ireland. And then the big surprise, you have a big comeback against Italy. I think we're due a placement that we've earned, and it's not because of other teams playing poorly. And I think that we have the capability to do it. Will we is another question. But I think if we can play the game, if we can stop kicking away possession needlessly, then I think we could maybe get another upset for French Grand Slam hopes or Championship hopes.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, like I said to you off it, I think you've shown a lot of promise in this tournament. I think everyone will agree that you've improved a lot this season, well, over a few seasons really. But I think definitely you've got that intent now. Like I say, the likes of Van der Merwe on the wing. Hugh Jones seems to be back in form, and Sam Johnson's obviously steady in there. A bit of a shame, as we all know, that Redpath got injured after that first game. But yeah, it looks like a more settled team. And if the likes of Johnny Gray comes back now next week, and a few of the other English-based players can obviously play as well, and hopefully they allow Finn Russell to get back for that match. Then yeah, it's all to play for. And a French team, as I mentioned, they're going to be missing a few key players as well for that game through injury. So yeah, it's all to play for. I think definitely more confident that you can go out there and do a job. And like you say, hopefully they're all battered and bruised from yesterday, and they have one of their off games. But I think it'll be a brilliant game again. I think similar to yesterday, we're going to see a lot of attacking rugby, and we know France are going to have to get a bonus point again. So hopefully your boys can take advantage of that.
Well, I think I'm not quite sure what the stats are this season. Definitely last year, we conceded the fewest tries. Steve Tandy's come up from the Ospreys, and he's just, I mean, like Scotland have always been a leaky tap when it comes to tries historically, and like touchwood, like we've done pretty well the past 2 years. So I'm hoping that we can do that. As I really, and I think it's the thing that Wales done wrong as well yesterday. Giving the French the ball is never a good idea because they will punish you. You think like Wales conceded more penalties than France, but in the first half they conceded them all in France's 22. They conceded them in their half. They couldn't kick for the sticks, and they couldn't get a 5-meter line out. That was massive. Like, you can concede the penalties there. It's okay. Like, you're losing opportunities yourself, but you're maybe able to come back into it. If we can keep the pressure on the French, then we know they don't like it. We know that they don't like being unable to play their game. And you do that by hemming them in and just starving them on the ball, because off the ball, France aren't the best team. With the ball, it's a different equation, though.
Yeah, you're right. And one player who didn't have an amazing, I know he scored a try, but Dupont was quite quiet yesterday. Which he's the danger man, he's the talisman. But I know he scored that try because he's always on someone's shoulder. If there's a break, there's no doubt about that. But yeah, I thought we managed, like you say, to pressurize him. And if Ritchie and Watson can do that all game and just pressurize him and not let him move, then if French can't get the ball out, then you've got a better chance, obviously. And like you said, your defense has been brilliant recently. So who knows, mate? It could be, like say, you finish second, you get the win, and you obviously help our boys to a title on your way.
It's a win-win for me, Rick. I get first and second place if we do it.
That's right. That is true.
Yeah. No, and Adam Hastings is back as well. He's making his return today, playing 15. Okay. So obviously he's decided Hoggy's done such a good job. He's just going to try and steal his position as well. Yeah, so maybe we'll see Adam Hastings back into it, which I think Finn missed the game yesterday by 2 hours in the concussion protocols, which is like, okay, like you need to look after the players, but like, so fair enough. But yeah, as long as we've got Hoggy at 15 and we have a dedicated 10, I think we can put some pressure on them.
He sticks with Steele, or do you think it was just a change because it was Italy for Ali Price to drop out?
I don't know. I think it's a tough one. I think Price had a stinker against Ireland. He should have been. I mean, it's just as well he wasn't hooked off, because then when Cummings broke his wrist. Like we wouldn't have had the amazing flanker that we did in Scott Steele. But yeah, it's a tough one to call. Ali Price, I'm expecting a kind of an answer from him for being dropped. Sadly, George Horn's injured, so you don't have that same competition that there has been between two vying nines. Ali Price, I think, has been too settled as first choice. So I don't know. Hopefully, the best nine gets picked. Say that.
Would you go Graham or Maitland on the other wing?
Maitland's had more minutes at Test rugby so far this season than Graham. He's fantastic under the high ball, but he's playing for a championship side that get beaten by Cornish Pirates. And he was part of that matchday squad as well. So I think he made the wrong decision staying with Saracens. I think he should have looked to go on loan somewhere. Darcy Graham maybe needs a bit more time, like just to kind of get to that level. I think he's been quiet this season. He's not been able to cut the lines that he normally would, but I think he scored some pretty good tries for us. And in the loose, he is really dangerous just because he's such a small guy. So maybe Graham pips it for me. He's been playing like European rugby as well. Maitland hasn't. So yeah, I'm gonna say maybe Graham. I definitely don't want to see Maitland at 15. The fact he was at 15 is bewildering to me when we have Blair Kinghorn, who is the heir apparent to Stuart Hogg at 15. Why put a winger who's playing for a championship side at 15? I mean, it's Italy, but still. But there will be. Funnily enough, Kinghorn can play 10 as well. So I don't know what Stoney was thinking there.
No, strange one, but yeah, something to look forward to. Okay then, mate. I think we've covered off the fantastic weekend of Super Saturday as always. Thank you as always for being part of the podcast, bro.
I have a quick question.
Okay, shoot.
After this season, who was going in Lions but now isn't?
Who was but is now isn't? Ow, that's a tough one.
Or who's done a lot of damage to their chances, do you think?
Well, I think you're gonna, there's obvious England players who are finishing fifth in this tournament. I think a lot of them, maybe not because of their performances, but would you take now? Obviously, I would have thought before the Six Nations, Johnny May and Anthony Watson would have been on that plane. Are one of them not going to be there now? With the likes of Rhys Sammet coming through, like you say, you've got a lot of Irish boys who've put their hand up as well. So yeah, I think that's the strange one. I think a few English players maybe have ruined their chances. I think you're still going to see the likes of Itoje, Farrell. I think you'll see either of Watson or May, if not both. But apart from that, I'm struggling. You may see like I think we would expect to see Tom Curry as well going, and possibly a Jamie George or a Cowan Dickey at hooker, because I think apart from Ken Owens, is anyone else really put their hand up there? But yeah, no, I think England players are going to be the ones that are hit the most. I think you probably see a few more Scottish players than you maybe would have going over there as well. But it's Gatland, so he's always going to be a strong Welsh spine, I think.
It's hard to argue against it, though. I mean, like even when they lose well. I still believe that you have a potential Lions back three in Wales with Rhys Sammet, Williams, and Adams. And I mean, bar Rhys Sammet, Gats knows Adams. He likes Adams. He knows Williams. He really likes Williams. So yeah, I think it's going to be so. Hamish Watson probably going to be one of the obvious kind of call up. Do you think there's going to be anyone else in the Scotland squad like kind of maybe put their hand up? People were saying Ali Price before, but I think he's probably damaged those hopes.
I don't think so. I think he's probably going to take Thomas Williams. He probably takes Conor Murray, and I don't know who the third is going to be. To be honest, he may take Ben Youngs or he may take another Welsh boy. I don't know. Might take Gareth Davis just for his experience. But yeah, I don't think Ali Price is going to be there. I think Johnny Grazer was going to be there or thereabouts. I think Jamie Ritchie as well is obviously going to do there. I think a lot of people have been saying about Rory Sutherland going as a loose head, which obviously could be there. And the same with Ferguson. I think he could maybe about his discipline, maybe a worry, but if Sinclair goes, then then that's not too much of it. But I think Hoggy definitely goes. But apart from that, Russell should go as well. But apart from that, I worry. The other players, I don't think you would have seen enough of them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if Redpath would have had a whole Six Nations and he continued to play well, but I think he's got too many players who he already likes, who can do what Sam Johnson does, and Hugh Jones won't get in there because there's so many good 13s. So yeah, I think you may have a few props, a second row, and probably two in the back row. I would have thought will be in the squad. If not there, it'd be tough for them. I think it'll be probably at the moment match day squad, depending on what he does with Itoje, and if Alan Wynne starts, then it may be a Byrne, maybe like Byrne, Faletau, Watson, the back row, and I'd be happy with that. So
yeah, that'd be a good back row.
And
Tom Curry to come off the bench.
What's that?
Tom Curry to come off the bench.
And Curry to come off the bench. Well, yeah, it's just so many. The back row is the talked about place because, like you say, you got Tom Curry. You obviously got Tipperick who does his job. You've got Watson, and like you say, you've got Faletau. You've got a load of Irish number 8s. Obviously, unfortunately, Stander's not going to be there now. But and obviously, who knows? He might still take Vunipola. So
I was actually going to say about that, like when you were talking about England players who have done the damage, like you were kind of talking about the ones who are good. I don't see a chance in hell of either Vunipola going. Billy has been terrible all season, and Mako was absolutely terrible just there. I think that we kind of come back to you saying Rory Sutherland, and people have been saying it for a while. But I've always kind of thought that like going and everything else, he's probably going to take maybe like Healy and Vunipola, and it would be hard for Sutherland to usurp them. But now, with Mako just collapsing, both literally and figuratively, I think Sutherland could be in with a shot because Mako definitely isn't.
I think definitely the conversation there is definitely between Sutherland and Wyn Jones, who's obviously been immense for Wales. So I think that's obviously the core for one, and like you say, for 3, it probably is going to be it's probably going to be Furlong to start, but then does he take Thomas Francis or is it going to be Sinclair and Ferguson? That's the question there. But yeah, I think definitely it's just Bully Vunipola has obviously had a very poor Six Nations by his standards. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that, and not playing for the Saracens would have helped that. But I think he's, because of who he is and the impact that he can carry, it depends how Gatland goes. Because if he takes someone like Navidi, who can play 8 as well, then is a bit different argument then, because you can say, well, we've already got Faletau and we've got Navidi there. Maybe takes Ferguson, who knows? But I think that it's a tough one to call. But he may just want him similar to Farrell, similar to Itoje, not in great form, but just because of their presence, they may go on that plane. But yeah, no, I think I just got a sneaky. I don't think Mako will go, but I got a sneaky feeling that Billy may still make the trip.
Yeah, never like, why is he going? Why is he going?
Yeah, I loved the other thing. Draco obviously was going from his house, and yesterday wasn't he during the game, and they were mentioning about Robbie Henshaw and stuff. He said, "Well, I think he'll probably go for Jonathan Davis. Gats likes him," and I was just thinking, yeah, I remember how pissed off you were when he picked him over you in the Lions before you went. But yeah, no, it's going to be. They're going to be a very good Lions team. There's no doubt about that. You know, they've got so many good players, and then so many. Like I said, that back row. It's going to be. I wouldn't want to be picking the back row from the crop that's there. It's ridiculous the amount of talent all countries have in the back row now. But yeah, it's going to be great. Let's just hope it goes ahead. Otherwise, it's a lot of talk about nothing.
Yeah. Well, like I'm not too opposed to the idea of it being hosted here. Like Lions at Murrayfield sounds cool. They're already looking at playing, I think, Japan. Is it Japan the warm-up game at Murrayfield?
I
Lions
think
versus
so.
Japan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
so I mean,
that'll be South Africa, Japan, won't it? I think.
oh, that might be it. Yeah.
I think France are coming over as well. I think South Africa are gonna, instead of them playing, you know, well, they wouldn't normally, would it? We'd be playing the South African teams, but instead of them coming over and playing like Saracens, blah blah blah, and all that, they're going to be playing France and Japan. I wasn't sure. I'm not sure if it's another team as well. Maybe like
maybe a
like
third.
Fiji or someone. I can't remember who it was now, but yeah, I think the South Africa team are going to have them warm up games because obviously they're coming on tour to us if it happens. So,
yeah, haven't played no rugby since the World Cup final.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, not a single game. It's wild.
No.
So we'll wait to see what happens with that. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. But as I said to one of the boys on Facebook yesterday, definitely 2023 is going to be a Northern Hemisphere winner, I think. Just watching how they're playing. You know, we haven't seen a lot, obviously, of the Southern Hemisphere teams because of everything. But when I watched the what's it called? What is it called? No, the Tri Nations, the Four Nations,
yes.
whatever it is now with Argentina as well. None of them teams scared me watching it. Australia probably scared me the most.
Really?
Oh, I loved watching it last year, the Australian team. I thought they were brilliant. They were brilliant. You know, they knocked the ball on a bit too much, especially their wingers. But yeah, really liked the balance of their team when I was watching it more than I did for New Zealand and yeah, the other teams. And obviously Argentina did a lot better. But yeah, I think definitely 2023. You know, France are the clear favourites, I think. But when you're watching Wales, Scotland, and Ireland, I think that definitely is going to come from. And England, you expect to improve, so it's definitely going to come from a Northern Hemisphere team, I think.
Yeah, well, that's it. We need to go over to France when the World Cup's on, so we need to be on the ground.
Definitely. I'm hoping in 2 years we won't all still be stuck in our houses. So, yeah, fingers crossed, bro. Okay, I know you're busy this afternoon, so I shall let you go. But like I said, thank you very much for joining me for the Six Nations. I'm sure we'll probably do one more video now coming next week for the final game and just to see if the Scots can do the damage. But cheers, bro, and I'll catch you soon.
Yeah, kiss and Rick. Fingers crossed for us.
Cheers, Gone.